Say this. Hey, all right, I'm nigga hard. Hurt hard.
T.I. was a rat.
Well, yeah. Man, man, everybody know. Everybody know, homie. That man say he a 7-time convicted felon in one song. 7 convicted felons. I was just 7 convicted felons. How you get caught with all he got guns? How? How? What deal? You can't even find his records nowhere on this.
Word is spreading that T.I.'s son King has finally reacted to remarks made by 50 Cent. And hold up, this is where it gets interesting. King reportedly uploaded several never-before-seen family photos, instantly setting social media on fire. In what many saw as a direct reply, he seemed to send a firm warning toward 50, making it clear he wasn't happy with the narrative being pushed. Even though the full backstory behind the upload is still a little murky, you won't believe how fast fans locked in during his recent live stream. Viewers who caught that broadcast are now dissecting every word, debating what King really meant, and waiting to see how 50 might answer. This moment, mixed with other ongoing controversies, has reportedly pushed King straight into the center of attention. Some commentators are saying that whether people agree with his style or not, he definitely made sure his voice landed loud and clear. Observers also claim King drew a firm line, basically signaling that any disrespect toward his family will be met with a public response, with no hesitation. Supporters online argue that this reaction proves he's serious about protecting his reputation and the people closest to him, at least from his perspective. A lot of fans point out that part of the intensity comes from exactly who he's calling out. 50 Cent has spent years building a reputation as one of the most outspoken figures online, so audiences are used to his bold, unfiltered posts. Reports indicate King clapped back by sharing an older family-related photo connected to 50 and a girl, which had timelines buzzing instantly. Social media split quickly, with some applauding King's fearlessness, while others questioned whether taking it public would only pour gasoline on the fire. No matter where people stand, the exchange grabbed headlines and kept the topic trending. King reportedly doubled down, making it known that he'll continue responding out in the open if things keep escalating. According to users watching closely, he suggested that if he's addressed online, he'll reply in that same arena and make sure his posts travel just as far. Supporters believe this proves he's committed to defending himself transparently, while critics argue that staying online only amplifies the drama. At the same time, 50 Cent jumped on Instagram to respond to certain blog coverage, claiming some outlets twisted his words. He allegedly clarified that he never intended to disrespect anyone's mother and insisted his comments were being misrepresented. Observers noticed what they described as a slightly softer tone than his usual digital persona. Some fans viewed it as an effort to regain control of the narrative, while others felt it was simply about clearing the air. Either way, the back and forth continues fueling conversations across multiple platforms. Commentators also claim King aimed subtle jabs toward Tiny during the ongoing online exchange. Soon after, T.I. reportedly dropped a diss track titled Bully, and many listeners are convinced it was directed squarely at 50 Cent. Within the record and its related posts, there were callbacks to previously circulated images that had already stirred debate online. Certain sources suggest those photos were reposted by others before they reached King, though the true starting point remains uncertain. The song didn't stop there, packing in additional lyrical shots that fans immediately started decoding line by line. After the diss surfaced, 50 Cent returned to social media with a statement centered on entertainment and audience reaction. He reportedly wrote, "To entertain is to provoke emotions. Love me or hate me, it's cool. Just care enough to feel some kind of way."
Deal can you possibly make with the FBI with all these military weapons, silencers, homie, as many as he had with 7 convicted felons? What deal did he make? Not only that, he became a Crime Stoppers helper, 1-800-TIP, tipster. He became the tipster, working with law enforcement, doing community service.
Tomorrow's gonna be a slow news day, or y'all could just make something up. I'm busy. El Ran and Cognac. That's what 50 Cent posted. And listen to this, the tone alone had people talking. Many viewers interpreted it as him brushing the drama off and hinting that he was about to step away from the back and forth for a moment. His supporters called it cool and calculated, while critics wondered if it was all part of a bigger chess move. Either way, the conversation didn't slow down at all. Social media watchers say 50 seemed to expect the hype might fade, but he squeezed in a few last plays before easing off the gas. Reports claim he briefly uploaded an image related to King's mother, only to delete it shortly after. Around that same window, he allegedly wiped several older videos and photos from his profile. Even with those posts gone, fans noticed King kept firing off reactions, keeping the momentum alive across platforms. Screenshots began circulating of a message that read, "Psych, ain't done," hinting that the saga was far from finished. In another remark, 50 reportedly joked, "Look how many bots on this page now, LOL," suggesting some of the engagement might not have been authentic. Supporters saw humor and strategy in those comments, while critics questioned the constant posting and deleting. No matter the reasoning, the quick uploads and sudden removals added even more suspense to the unfolding drama. Online reports say 50 later came back with another message, "I'm out of here. You guys hurt my feelings," paired with a photo of him boarding a private jet. Many followers read it as sarcasm, a playful jab at critics, while signaling he was supposedly logging off. But hold up, after some time passed, he reportedly returned yet again with a post referencing Tiny. The picture he shared had already been circulating for a while, and observers described the tone as intentionally provocative. He followed that with, "Okay, I'll change my mind," leaving people confused about whether he was serious or just putting on a show. In a separate upload, he reportedly wrote, "The stupid award goes to all rappers still trying to battle rap. ChatGPT told me that I don't need to rap. You need me to rap, LOL. Get off my page." Many interpreted that as a firm stance that he wasn't interested in trading diss tracks or lyrical shots. Analysts suggested he was steering away from music-based responses and doubling down on commentary and social media theatrics instead. Supporters praised the humor and positioning, while critics pointed to the repeated reversals as mixed messaging. Overall, every new post kept reigniting the timeline, with reactions pouring in instantly. Reports also indicate King escalated things by posting a photo connected to 50 Cent's late mother and the girl, which intensified the situation immediately. Users noted he had touched on similarly sensitive subjects before, and this upload followed that same pattern. While many bloggers chose not to reshare the image out of respect, they confirmed it was still visible on his page at the time. Commentators described the action as bold and deeply controversial, given how personal the subject matter was. King then appeared to hint that more responses were on the way. In one update, he reportedly mentioned getting some rest before continuing later, signaling he wasn't backing down. Supporters argued this showed resolve, while critics felt involving family crossed a serious boundary. Regardless of where people stood, screenshots and reposts spread fast, keeping the issue trending everywhere. Many analysts believe King has significantly amplified the spotlight around this entire situation. Some argue that if T.I. had just dropped music on its own, it would have attracted attention regardless. However, the added layer of social media warfare appears to have widened the audience and fueled an even bigger conversation. Intentional or not, King's online moves have become central to the storyline, influencing how fans and commentators interpret each twist. According to several observers, 50 Cent is unlikely to step into the musical arena over this situation.
Advocating and promoting civilians as well as criminals, call Crime Stoppers and report a crime. And he done a great job doing it. But Blunt got killed. T.I. took the stand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, every good. Yes, sir, I do. And he was pointing and he was telling on that stand about what happened. He didn't play gangster.
Analysts say 50 Cent seems more invested in social media chess moves than in dropping diss records. Over time, he's crafted a brand built on sarcasm, timing, and online commentary, and many feel he's sticking to that same blueprint now. Reports also highlight his range of business deals and entertainment ventures beyond music, which could explain why he doesn't appear pressed to answer through a track. Some critics argue that putting out a song aimed at 50 may have been a strategic play, especially in an era where viral moments travel faster than radio spins. They point out that mastering internet momentum can matter just as much as lyrical skill. Others counter that growth as an artist doesn't expire with age, and powerful music can resonate no matter the stage of life. Still, plenty of users suggest the surge in attention isn't fueled by the music alone. Commentators keep emphasizing that King's presence has amplified the spotlight far beyond what a standalone release might have done. A few believe that without the constant online back and forth, the focus would have stayed centered strictly on the record. Instead, the blend of posts, reactions, and commentary has kept the topic circulating. Right now, many observers view this less as a classic rap beef and more as a fusion of marketing tactics and digital theatrics. Some analysts argue that King has poured gasoline on the online fire, pushing the situation into a brighter spotlight. Others suggest his involvement is a major reason 50 has chosen to address the issue directly across platforms. In recent uploads, 50 has seemed to clarify certain narratives and sharpen his stance, which industry watchers find notable given his veteran status. From a wider lens, most agree that 50 remains financially secure and recognized as a mogul beyond the booth. Entertainment insiders note he doesn't rely on rap drops or comment sections to stay relevant. Even so, over the past few years, he's consistently woven social media into his larger persona. What stands out this time, according to digital commentators, is how direct the language feels, with personal references shaping the tone. Others highlight the generational contrast fueling the narrative. King represents a younger wave, and fans frequently mention he wasn't even alive during the height of the 50s breakout run. That detail keeps resurfacing online to underline the difference in timelines and cultural footprints. As the debate rolls on, many frame this as an era versus era clash, magnified by today's non-stop internet cycle. The shifting dynamic has audiences watching closely to see how each side maneuvers through the spotlight. Commentators often point out that 50 Cent's breakthrough album dropped before King was even born, reinforcing the obvious age gap between them. Online threads repeatedly revisit that milestone to stress the 50's long-standing dominance in hip-hop. Across generations, fans still regard him as a rap heavyweight, frequently naming his debut among the most influential projects of its era. Observers believe King understands that legacy and the gravity attached to it. At the same time, King's supporters argue his reactions are rooted in the feeling that his family was brought into public conversation. Social media discussions indicate he has made it clear he plans to defend his family name without hesitation. He has reportedly voiced his stance openly on Instagram, signaling he isn't stepping back from the exchange. Both critics and fans agree that this determination has helped keep the narrative alive online. Beyond the controversy, some listeners remind people that King had already dropped a few singles before this dispute escalated. A handful of reviewers have described tracks like Bang Bang and another recent release as promising efforts with visible growth. While opinions on his artistry remain mixed, several commentators believe the added exposure from this situation has driven fresh traffic toward his music catalog. Zoom out for a second, and you'll see the conversation balancing respect for an established legend with curiosity about a young artist navigating a very loud digital storm. Beyond the back and forth, King has reportedly been pushing a new single, and some listeners insist the track actually carries a strong vibe. One creator even said they posted the song and saw split reactions, a few calling it mid, others saying, "Hold up, this might grow on me." Supporters argue the record reflects his current sound and artistic evolution. No matter where people stand, the drop has definitely added fuel to the wider discussion around his name. When his earlier single, Bang Bang, was making rounds, several blogs tied coverage of his personal life into the rollout, boosting visibility. Even if every outlet hasn't tracked his journey consistently, many agree King has always had a knack for staying visible. Commentators often describe him as someone who commands attention, whether it's through music, interviews, or a single Instagram post. Analysts say that kind of presence keeps interest alive around whatever he promotes next. King also benefits from a built-in audience that literally watched him grow up on screen. Fans who first saw him as a young TV personality are now witnessing him step into adulthood and shape his own lane. That shift alone has longtime followers curious about how far he can push his creativity. Debate over his music will continue, sure, but most agree he's a figure people are actively watching as his career unfolds. At just 21, King has reportedly made it clear he doesn't mess with his mother. Social media observers say he's hinted that any perceived disrespect toward his family will get a public response. Some see that as loyalty and heart. Others think extending the online war only stretches the drama. The audience is clearly split on whether his reactions are justified or over the top. Critics argue that repeatedly invoking 50 Cent keeps the spotlight locked on conflict instead of craft. Supporters fire back that he's simply protecting his family and standing on principle. As for 50, analysts point out he's mastered the mechanics of internet culture and knows attention equals traction. Digital commentators often say audiences gravitate toward whoever delivers the most compelling moment, not necessarily the most measured one. At the end of the day, the online world tends to reward spectacle, and that reality may be guiding both camps. Many observers say humor, audacity, and shock factor usually win during public spats. Commentators note that viewers tune in to see who lands the sharpest punchline or the wildest comeback. And let's be real, engagement spikes when personalities choose entertainment over silence. Analysts argue that this environment shapes how celebrities present themselves when tensions rise. According to digital culture watchers, 50 has long embraced the role of online instigator and showman. Some believe he fully understands the stage social media provides and how quickly it magnifies reactions. Meanwhile, observers describe King as bringing a different flavor and generational energy. Supporters insist his personality connects strongly with a specific demographic. Overall, experts say understanding how both men operate online explains why this saga keeps trending. Observers frequently describe King as intensely driven. Supporters say he doesn't fold easily, especially when emotions are involved. In past interviews and public moments, he's portrayed himself as firm and unapologetic. Commentators feel that same energy is visible in how he's handling this situation. Agree or disagree, many admit he presents himself as confident and unmoved. Some online threads have even resurfaced stories from his younger years that once made headlines. Analysts suggest those early moments shaped his reputation as outspoken and reactive. In this current clash, observers suspect he likely has more responses lined up, given how active he's been. Supporters call that consistency. Critics call it escalation. At the same time, industry watchers remind everyone that T.I. is in album mode. Analysts say engaging with someone like 50, known for never letting a moment die, requires a calculated plan. Many note he rarely drops an exchange without squeezing every ounce of attention from it. Yet they also describe T.I. as equally steadfast, turning this into a battle of strong wills. As the rollout unfolds, audiences are watching how promotion and public sparring intertwine under the digital spotlight. Longtime hip-hop heads often bring up 50's old feud with Lil Flip as proof of how relentless he can be. Commentators recall diss tracks flying back and forth, and the music world hanging on to every response. The beef era is still remembered for its intensity and competitive fire. Analysts say that history colors how fans interpret what's happening now. In the present timeline, reports suggest King shared his viewpoint at 50 and moved with intention. Observers noticed he paused overnight, then returned with fresh content, keeping momentum alive. Supporters see strategy and timing. Critics wonder about the long-term payoff. Either way, this rollout has captured cross-platform attention. So let me ask you, is this genius marketing or is the noise drowning out the music? Drop your take in the comments. And if you want more breakdowns like this, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens next.